Hello, and welcome back to Diecast Graveyard. My name is Paul. We've got an absolutely awesome build today. We're going to build the Yesca van from the Cheech and Chong movie Up in Smoke. I've been wanting to do this for a very, very long time. And literally, I've had this on my bench for over a year, and I just haven't taken the time to do it. But, I finally got to the point where things were just falling into place, and I says, now's the time to do it. We're going to start off with this HotWheels delivery van. We're going to strip it down, and we got a bunch of changes to make to it. And we got some pretty cool modifications and some other things that we got from Bearcat 3D Designs and a whole bunch of other things. So go ahead and grab your favorite adult beverage or your cup of coffee or whatever, and stick around because we're going to do the Cheech and Chong's weed van, or the Yesca van from Up in Smoke. Let's get started. Here I've got the van. I've already drilled out the post. Now there's only one post holding this vehicle together, and that's in the front. The other, the back side, is held together with a clip that goes underneath the bumper. So let's go ahead and get the interior out of this thing. It's got a red windshield. We're definitely going to be replacing that. But we're going to strip this van down and do a lot of modifying to the interior pieces. And we're going to make some pieces. And we're just going to have a lot of fun with this, I promise. But like I said, this is something I've been wanting to do for a very, very long time. Now here's a windshield that I got from a different van. Here's a base, and I think later on I might even just switch it out with the metal base. But we've got a lot of modifying to do, a lot of cutting. We got wheel swaps to do. We're going to cut one of the doors out. I mean, we're going to do all kinds of really cool stuff. Now, the back end of this car is put together with a 49 Cadillac. The music that I'm using for this video was made by Guy Martin, and this is used with his permission. But, because you don't want to use copyrighted music. But this guy, he did his own version of the song, and that's what we're using here, and I hope that YouTube doesn't pinch me for it. Now, the back end of this van, this 49 Cadillac, was printed out by Bearcat 3D Designs. Now, Grizz makes these kits, and he sells these kits if you want to do these things yourself. Not only does it come with the back end, it comes with the clip for the roof. It also comes with the mirrors for the sides of the door. And again, this makes things so much easier. Now you can cut apart a 49 Cadillac, which is what I intended to do, until Grizz got a hold of me and he says, "Hey, I got these things all ready to go. Why don't you try mine?" I says, "Well, sure." So go to Bearcat 3D Designs, talk to Grizz if you want to make one of these yourself. It's a lot of fun, and it'll be very rewarding for you. So check out Grizz at Bearcat 3D Designs. Now we're going to have to modify the fender wells on the back in order to get the wheels to fit in there nicely. We're going to have to cut off that bumper off the back to get this to fit. So like I said, there's a lot of modifying here that you're going to have to do. So we'll cut off the back end, we'll cut off the bumper, we'll widen the wheel wells there. Now here I'm using these sprue cutters to cut off the bumper off the back. It's all trial and error, folks, when you're doing a highly modified vehicle like this. Hopefully you don't chop off anything you need, which would really suck. There we go. Oh, that'll fit in there nice now. And I left a little lip on the edge there so it's got something to hold on to. Like I said, there's a lot of modifying, there's a lot of filing, there's a lot of sanding, there's a lot of cutting. I mean, you just have to fit the pieces along as you go and hopefully get it to fit nicely. We still have to smooth that lip down a little bit, so we'll take a file or a grinder and we'll fix that up and we'll get it to lie flat. Let's go ahead and get that taken care of, and I'll get right back to you. Alright, we got that lip file down now. See that? That fits nice and smooth. Now notice how the little fender well from the van is still sticking out there. We're also going to have to file that down or grind that down or cut it out. So that's something else to think about when you're going to use this kit. So I drew it out with my marker, and I'm going to use my grinding wheel with the Dremel, and we're going to grind that out and cut that out. Let's go ahead and get that taken care of. There. It's cut out now. That fits nice and you can't see it. Got it done on both sides. That's fitting really, really nice. Let's go ahead and move on. Here, I'm going to cut off the grill. Now, the grill on this one, obviously, the headlights are round. On the Cheech and Chong van, the headlights are square like you see in this van. So we're going to cut off the grill off of this one, and we're going to put it onto that one. That'll look neat. Let's move on. There we go. Now I've got several different vans here, so I'm using pieces and parts out of everything. But that's what I wanted to do. It was pretty much what you see right there. I didn't want the round headlights because, again, that's not what's there. Here I'm just mocking up the pieces to make sure that they're exactly where I want to be. Now I'm going to fill in the back end of the spare tire there. This is kind of what it looks like. Now this is not the actual Cheech and Chong van. It's a remake. That's the visor that goes over the roof. Pieces are all coming together nicely. Alright, I cut out the door and I took a piece of styrene plastic and made it look like the door was sliding backwards. I just wanted to give it a little bit more, I don't know, a little bit more detail, let's say, to get it to fit. Now we're also going to have to cut a piece to fit inside the door in the back. Now if you look at the van in the movie, there's no windows or anything like that. So you got to make sure that when you're doing research that you're looking at the actual pictures of the movie vehicle that was made versus anybody's mock-up of a van like that one I just showed you. I was just using that mostly for colors and overall placement of things. That's looking really good so far. Here's the interior. Now I've got the fenders and stuff attached, but I wound up having to remove the back fenders because you got to paint the door and everything, and you can't get at it with the spare tire in the way. So let's cut off the doors off the interior because we're not going to need those now. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click on that little bell to be alerted to any future videos that come out. Okay, we're still going to have to do a little bit of modifying in the back. But again, this is all trial and error when you go to do stuff like this. That's looking pretty cool. That's going to fit in there nicely. We'll still have to do a little bit of filing to make adjustments. Now also there's a vent on top of the van. I took a small piece of styrene and I started filing down the sides to kind of round off the edges on the sides there. That's approximately where it goes, so we'll go ahead and we'll fit that in place and we'll glue it in place. I filled in the back of the spare tire because on the van from the movie, it's filled in. It's not got a hole in there, okay? So I filled that in. We're going to sand that down and smooth it out too. Man, this is really starting to look sharp. That's looking nice. So that back end is just sitting there, but it's coming along really, really sweet. Here I found the wheels that I want to use, and I switched it out for the metal base. So I went ahead and glued the wheels in place now, and they look pretty close to what I wanted for this van. They look really close to the ones from the movie, so that's why I picked these wheels and rims. Let's go ahead and let that set. Now, we did hit it with some activator, but we're going to go ahead and let that set and harden up a little bit. But those wheels look really nice for this. Let's move on. Here I've painted up the van itself with the green. We need to let that dry, and I painted the back end with the green too. We're going to go back over the doors and the back doors with the brown paint later on. But that's looking good. It's kind of like an olive green, and that's exactly what I wanted. Now I glued a little piece of plastic to the inside so I can hold it. So I used this Vallejo green, this olive drab green, and mixed it with just a little bit of thinner. We'll let that dry and get back to it. Alright, I painted up the doors like I wanted to. Did a little bit of detail on the headlights. Painted that door. That looks excellent. That's looking really good. And then I glued the tail fins back in place. So they're being held in place now. That's all glued up. Now I got to work on the grill. Now the grill in the movie was actually bales of weed that were taped to a stick, not taped to a stick, but they were wound up with like chicken wire. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill some holes in the grill with this little fine drill bit in my pin vise. And I'm going to use these staples. I'm going to use these staples to go into where the holes in the grill are, and then I'm going to paint them a kind of a yellowish green color, as you'll see here. I've got this flat tester's paint. These are really, really tiny, so it's awful hard to get that detail, but we're doing the best we can with it. Just take your time. Now this is how I did it. Now there's many different ways you can. And it won't take long for this stuff to dry. But you get the general idea. Once they dry, you push them in, bend the ends of the staples over inside the grill, and they'll look just like you want them to. Just like that. That looks pretty good. I'm really happy with that. That looks excellent. It's exactly what I was looking for. Let's go ahead and move on. Here we're going to put on the decals. I start out by laying down some microset. I printed these decals myself. The color is a little bit off, but you know what? They look nice and clean, and that's kind of what I was looking for. Had them soaking in the water. Make sure you get a really good soak on them so they separate nicely. Put that microset on there, put these in approximately the place you need to. Smooth them out. And then you're going to rub them down with a Q-tip just to get out the excess fluid. And then let it dry. You should let it dry for the rest of the day before you put any kind of clear coat on there. Go ahead and smooth out all the wrinkles. Now I had to scan in this picture or whatever from a copy or a photograph of the van that I had. And once I did that, I had to clean it up and then print it. Now I've got the mirrors attached. I got the mirrors from Bearcat 3D Designs. He made the kit that has the Cadillac back end with the spare tire. He also made the canopy for the top of the windshield there, and he also made these mirrors. So if you want to get one of these kits, contact Grizz at Bearcat 3D Designs. He does fantastic work, and if you want to make one of these vans, this will definitely help you speed up the process. I'm going to go ahead and paint these up with chrome. Those are looking good. Now where I attach the mirrors with the super glue, it's a little bit shiny. Now I am going to spray the van down with some matte finish or some matte clear. So that's the way that the vehicle comes. So you don't want to have that shiny glossy look. And I went back in and I touched up those areas with the green paint again that has a flat consistency, or not a flat consistency, a flat drying luster. So I went back in with that flat paint and painted, just touched it up a little bit, and you couldn't even tell. So that worked out fantastic also. These mirrors were the final touch I was waiting for to finish up this van. Like I said, I've been wanting to do this for years. Now the back end of the van, the Cadillac portion, that's like from like a 48 to a 53 Cadillac, somewhere around in there. So if you happen to have one of those cars and cut it up, you can do it that way. Here's what we started with, this delivery or bread truck. Now you can use any kind of van like this. Now I happened to use this van, but later on I says, you know, I need to get me some clear windshield plastic and stuff like that. So I went ahead and I had another one that I took apart also. So I stripped this down. We did the filing work on it that we had to. We cut away pieces of it that we had to. We had to change out the grill. I mean, this took a couple of vehicles in order to get to where I needed to be or where I wanted to be. But I took all the reference photos I possibly could, and I was very happy with the result. Now, if you happen to want to do something like this, contact Grizz at Bearcat 3D Designs. He'll hook you up with one of these kits, and it comes with the Cadillac back end, it comes with the visor, it comes with the mirrors, etc. But check it out. He can definitely hook you up there. But this turned out absolutely fantastic, and this is one of my favorite builds of all time. And this is what we got to. The Cheech and Chong Yesca van or weed van. I really, truly love this vehicle because, like I said, this was one of the very first vehicles that I wanted to do when I started putting these YouTube videos out. But it kept getting pushed to the back burner. But I finally had an opportunity to do it, and this is how it turned out. I was super happy with this, and it was so much fun. So I've got a whole bunch of other ones. I want to do the Love Machine from this movie, and I also want to do the laundry truck, the laundry delivery van, where the guy yells out the zipper and the pants in the back of the van yells "shoot the moon." I want to do that one too, just because, so I can have a complete set here. But if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Please give it a thumbs up and a like, and make sure you subscribe to the channel because I got a lot more videos coming out. Again, like I said, folks, check out Bearcat 3D Designs. Grizz does some fantastic work, and if you don't see what you're looking for, talk to him. He's got an incredible design process that he goes through to make the things that you need to make your custom diecast car come to life. Had a fantastic build. Like I said, I've got a whole bunch more of these builds coming up, and this is, my gosh, there's so many other builds coming up. We got the race car build coming up the end of May. We got 4 Horsemen build coming up. All kinds of things. My name is Paul with Diecast Graveyard. Thank you so much, and cheers.